Sometimes some parents can come across extremely entitled when wanting something for their little darlings. So today we're taking a look at some of the most entitled parents in the world from the subreddit r/entitledparents. My aunt asked me to give my graduation money to her son. Family helps family. To give it to her son for what? Pokemon cards? What? This just happened last year. I graduated from UNLV. Nothing huge, just a small backyard thing with some friends and family. I got like 500 total in cards from people, some cash, couple gift cards, super appreciated. Next day, my aunt, my mum's sister, calls me and goes, "So, you gonna share some of that money with Joy?" He hasn't won the lottery. He's been given $500 for graduating. That's like 350 quid or something. Are you gonna share something? He hasn't won the Euro Millions. Jordan's a 20-year-old son who dropped out of college last year and hasn't really been doing much. I laughed at first, thought she was messing around. She was dead serious. Oh, man. If you're fighting so that your 20-year-old loser son who doesn't do anything with his day can get a share of $500. A share of $500. Why would he give it to him? That's so ridiculous. You know he's been struggling and you're lucky to graduate. I wouldn't really say lucky. You know, he's clearly put in the work to graduate. He didn't drop out. He put in the work to graduate from university. It's not lucky. What the fuck? It's not lucky. You're lucky to graduate. What does that mean? It'd be nice if you passed some of that along. I told her no, it was a gift for me, and she got weird and said I was acting brand new and hung up. Yeah, man, you changed. You changed as soon as you got that fancy degree that you got so lucky to get. What, you're not even going to share that $500 with your cousin who's a fucking loser? You're not going to share it? You're not going to share? Oh, Matt, you've changed. You'd have, like, 3 years ago, you'd have shared that with him. Then told my mum I was selfish, and my mum just said, then maybe your kid should graduate first. That's so funny. It's just like, you're going to share some of that $500 with your cousin. Had my turn at "you're too old for it, give it to my kid" today. So I was doing some grocery shopping at my local Aldi today, and I was wearing my hat that has Pokemon patches on it. It's just a black hat with 3 patches, a Psyduck, a Magikarp, and a Gyarados. Got to the checkout and there was this woman there with her 2 kids. The kids were misbehaving and she was yelling at them, and then the boy saw my hat and said, "Mum, I like her hat. This is going where I think it's going." Oh my god. Next thing I know, the woman is telling me to give my hat to her kid because I'm too old for it. She even tried to reach over and yank it off my head. I told her to go away and that I didn't have to give my hat to her kid, and stuffed it under my jumper I was wearing. Checked out and left. Anywho, it's not much, but there's my encounter with an entitled parent. What the fuck is going on? I've never heard or seen of anything like this. So I go, "Yeah, you're too old for that hat. Just give it to my kids. My kid wants it. Give it to my kids." Entitled stepmom told me to tone down my wheelchair at her wedding. What does that mean? Tone down your wheelchair. I, 25F, have been using a wheelchair since I was 18 due to a spinal injury. It's sleek and metallic purple, my favorite color, and something that makes me feel a little more like me. My dad recently remarried and his new wife, entitled mother, is something else. A few weeks before the wedding, she called me and said, "Hey, for the ceremony, could you maybe rent a black wheelchair, or at least one that doesn't look so flashy?" I asked why. She said, "You'll be in a lot of pictures and I don't want it to be a distraction." I told her flat out I'm not doing myself for her aesthetic. She went crying to my dad. To his credit, he backed me up, but said I could come however I wanted to or not at all. She gave me side-eye all wedding day, but I rolled in bright purple and all, and got compliments from other guests about how cool it looks. And now she's married in, she barely talks to me. Not that I'm complaining. That's fucking... Yeah, can you just, you know that wheelchair which you need, can you just like rent a different one, because it's too flashy. I don't want it taking attention away from the bride, you know, we don't want it taking away from the attention of the event. Shut up, it's a wheelchair. She's not turning up in a fucking bright orange Lamborghini, is she? No way. Entitled dad tried to force my brother to give up his Make-A-Wish spot. What? My little brother, 15, has a terminal illness. He was recently granted a Make-A-Wish trip. He chose to meet a famous animator and tour their studio. An entitled dad from our community group caught wind of this and came over just to talk. He said his own son, 14, who has severe social anxiety, deserves a wish too, and that my brother should pick something easier to share, like a Disney trip. Alright, I'm sorry, but social anxiety doesn't trump terminal illness. You even get a Make-A-Wish for social anxiety. I was stunned. I explained this was his dream and his time is limited, but the dad said, "But your brother's barely out of bed most days. My kid could actually enjoy it." Oh, Christ. I told him to leave and never speak to my family again. He called my mum a week later and said, "Your son has the power to make another child happy. Selfishness isn't a good legacy." My mum blocked him. My brother had the time of his life last weekend, and the animator even made a mini character of him. That's sick. That's cool that happened, but fucking hell. Yeah, I know your brother has a terminal illness, but my son has social anxiety. Couldn't you, like, get a Make-A-Wish to share with him instead? My mum had sex with a guy in my bed. Usually these stories are about, like other parents, like not your own ones. Why would you post this on Reddit? What the fuck? Hi, my mum has recently been seeing 4 men. What, is your mum body blue? She is 57 years old and always acts like an 18-year-old. I recently saw today she has been having sex with a man in my bed, which obviously I am fuming about, as it's disgusting. I am also autistic and my bedroom is my safe place from this. I have called her slag and vile behavior because that's what it is. And I said, why should I pay rent when you are doing this behind my back? She's turned around and said, I am nasty, disgusting, and has banned my boyfriend from coming around to the house as a form of punishment, which I don't see why I should be punished, as I have every right to be angry. Yeah, you do. My mum is also someone who never apologizes and slags off her kids when she doesn't get her way, so hopefully you can already see the type of person she is. Christ. Entitled mum demands my daughter's plushie mid-flight because her son is tired. Oh, fuck. Give over. Give over. I, 27, was on a 5-hour flight last weekend with my 3-year-old. It was her first time on a plane, so to calm her, we bought her favourite stuffed fox. Her comfort toy. She clutched that thing like a lifeline during takeoff. About an hour in, a boy, maybe 5 or 6, in the row ahead of us starts crying and fussing. No big deal, we've all been there. His mum turns around and points at my daughter's stuffed fox and goes, he's just really overstimulated. Would she mind sharing her toy for a bit? You should have probably bought your own toy on the plane for your child. I blinked and said gently, sorry, she doesn't share this one. It helps with her anxiety. She sighed and dramatically said, this is why kids today are so selfish. I didn't respond, but then she whispered, not quietly, some people shouldn't be allowed to have kids if they can't teach them basic oh my god, shut up. If they can't teach them basic manners. Oh, okay, that flipped a switch, so I said loud enough for others to hear. If you're that worried about your kid's comfort, maybe pack something he actually likes instead of trying to guilt trip strangers into handing over theirs. Several people around us muttered seriously and gave her side-eye. The flight attendant even offered my daughter some stickers and told the entitled mother to stop harassing other passengers. She didn't say another word for the rest of the flight. That's it. To call it to be like, oh yeah, you're so selfish for not giving me that thing of yours. That is ironically incredibly selfish behavior. Oh, what, your child has a toy to help with her anxiety on something she's never experienced before? Why didn't she just stop being so selfish and just give her toy to my child? Why didn't she just do that? My mum signed me up for prom as someone's Make-A-Wish date. Sorry, what? This still makes my blood boil when it happened back in my senior year. I, 18, was born with a pretty visible birthmark across half my face and had multiple surgeries to help, but the scars remain. I've also been deaf since birth. Despite that, I'm pretty confident and have had a few close friends. Well, I decided not to go to prom because it just wasn't my scene and I wanted to save money. Honestly, same. I didn't go to my prom. I'd much rather just be at home, like playing COD and shit. That probably sounds really sad. It's not. It wasn't though. Like most of my friends didn't go. That's why I didn't go. 1 week before prom, my mum sat down smiling ear to ear and said she got me a date. She had signed me up to go with a boy in our town who was recovering from leukemia. I didn't even know him. His mum and mine are apparently friends and agreed it would be so sweet if we went together. I mean, I don't think it's your mum's place to do this, is it? They even posted a photo collage of us online like it was some rom-com. Oh man, that must just be painful for the both of you. I called her out immediately. She said, I just thought this would be your only chance to go to prom. I said, why? Because I'm deaf and have scars. She didn't answer. I cancelled everything. I didn't go. And the worst part, that poor boy thought I had set it up. Oh, that's cruel. That's so cruel. He apologized for my mum's behavior when he found out. My mum still tries to frame it like I missed out on a beautiful moment. Now I dodged a manipulative nightmare. Yeah, that's mental that she set you up for something like that when she didn't even consult you. A small child punched me in the stomach because I wouldn't let him pet my dog who was clearly in distress. His parents got mad at me. My very old dog was outside in our yard, foaming at the mouth, gasping for air, and it was coming out at the other end. This was right after he had incontinence in the house. I was crashing out because the vet said he could die any day, so I'm thinking this is the end. I'm in the yard figuring out what to do, and I see in my peripheral vision some kid running up to us on my yard. This is not one of the neighborhood kids. He's from a party up the street. His mum said, hope it's okay if they play. My son is due a doggy play date. What does that even mean? My son is due for a doggy play date. Is your son a dog then? I physically put myself between the child and my dog. The child fucking punched me in the stomach. It took everything in me to not physically retaliate to the child. Okay, right, I have a similar story to this. Actually, not really similar. But yesterday, I was playing Rematch. You know, it's like the football Rocket League game. And there was this little kid. I think he was on with his older brother. Because there were two. It was like a 3v3. And the two people in my team was this kid. And I'm guessing his older brother. This kid was cussing the fuck out of me. He was calling me gay. He was calling me shit. He was calling me he was swearing at me. I didn't know 10-year-olds had this kind of language in their vocabulary. I was so close. It took everything in me not to turn on my mic and go, shut up, you little fucking rat. It took everything in me, but I knew if I put on my mic and said that, I would have lost. He would have rattled me, and that means he would have won. So instead, I just threw the game, put on my mic at the end of it, and just went, good game, guys. To be fair, that game has made me realize we are so back. Like, COD lobbies are back. They're just rematch lobbies now. Like, a couple of games before that, I had a guy screaming at me in Arabic, and the only words he said in English were, I will fuck your granddad. We're so back. We're so back. Anyway, it took everything in me to not physically retaliate to the child. Sorry, call me a bad person. I don't care. You're not a bad person. I'd have hoofed that child over the fence. I respectfully restrained her child by the arm and marched him to his mum. She freaked out that I put my hands on her son. I ignored her because my dog was my only priority. Then the fucking dad struts over and starts screaming in my face to never lay hands on his kid again. His son just wanted to pet your dog. I'm so overstimulated because the kid was screaming bloody murder and having a tantrum that he can't pet my dog. Meanwhile, my dog has a tonic-clonic seizure, full shaking unconscious. They suddenly got real quiet and finally backed off. I hear the mum tell her son the doggy isn't feeling well. We have to let him rest. Those parents are so fucking lucky I'm a hill person. I sat in my yard in the dark with my dog until the vet came to my house. My dog couldn't walk after everything that just happened. He weighs nearly as much as I do, so I needed help moving him. My husband was away for work. Okay, and then they say they put the dog down. That's really sad. That's a really sad ending to this. Anyway, on to the next one. Entitled mum scolded me for leading her son on at a funeral. Yeah, yes, slag, leading on a poor son at a funeral. Who comes on to someone at a funeral? I, 27F, went to a funeral last year for my college friend. It was deeply emotional, especially because it was a sudden accident. At the service, I hugged a few people goodbye, including a guy I used to be close with. Let's call him Daniel. We had some tension back in school, but we never dated. I gave him a hug and told him I hoped he was okay. The next day, I get a Facebook message from his mum. This woman tells me I shouldn't toy with her son's emotion. He's fragile right now and doesn't need mixed signals from girls like me. I thought it was a prank. Nope. She went on to say how I should either date him or stop giving him hope, all because I hugged him at a funeral. I told her to lose my number and block me. Instead, she posted a passive-aggressive status about fake women who pretend to care. Daniel later profusely apologized, said his mum had boundary issues and begged me not to judge him based on her. We're cool now, but I'll never forget the audacity of being called manipulative for showing human comfort at a funeral. Yeah, in fairness, I did think you led him on with that hug. That hug sounded pretty sensual, you know? I think the mum's right in this situation. The time an entitled mum tried to reserve my cat for her kid's birthday. What? So I, 18, have a very fluffy, very adorable cat named Moshi. He's basically my little buddy. He's got one of those Instagram accounts where I post his funny antics, so a lot of people in my neighborhood know about him, including this one mum I'll call EM, who has a 6-year-old daughter super into cats. No biggie, right? One day EM messages me on Instagram saying her daughter is absolutely obsessed with Mochi and asking if I could bring him to her daughter's birthday party the following weekend so the kids can play with him. I politely declined, explaining that Mochi doesn't do well in new environments and would likely hide and freak out around kids. Yeah, like a lot of cats do. EM's response, well, you can loan him to us for the day. Yes, she literally wanted me to just hand over my cat as if it were a library book or something. She promised they'd take good care of him and even offered to pay me $20 for the inconvenience. Wow, $20 for the stress of giving your cat to someone else for the day. Sounds like the deal of the century for you. I politely refused again, saying that Moshi isn't up for loan and I don't think it would be safe or comfortable for him. EM immediately switches tactics, calling me selfish and accusing me of gatekeeping joy from her daughter. She rants about how it's just one day and I owe it to the community because I flaunt Moshi's photos online. Yeah, you owe it to the... It's not your cat anymore. It's the community's because you've got an Instagram page for it. You owe us the cat. That is our cat. Your cat would not be in the privileged position it is with the thousands of followers or whatever on Instagram if it weren't for us. It's basically our cat now. We all own a share of it. Now I'm getting irritated. I tell her that my cat isn't an accessory and he's definitely not something I owe to the neighborhood. I assume that's the end of it until the day of the party. I'm in my apartment when I hear a loud knock on my door. It's EM and her daughter with the girl holding a sparkly cat carrier. Wait, how did they find your address? EM smiles and says, oh, we came to pick up Mochi. She acts as if we had agreed on this and then just expected me to hand him over on demand. That's insane. To go up to someone's door and just go, yeah, just give me a cat. Like, my daughter really wants it. You know, just give it to her. Completely stunned, I tell her I never agreed to this and I'm not giving you my cat. EM's smile drops instantly and she launches into this loud, dramatic rant about how I'm ruining her daughter's special day and that I shouldn't show off my cat if I didn't want to. I don't think that's how it works. I really don't think that's how it works. If I don't want to share, her daughter starts tearing up and the EM gives me this accusing look like I've just broken her kid's heart on purpose. No, the fucking entitled parent has broken the kid's heart because she told the kid that she's going to get her the cat for her birthday or whatever. My neighbor down the hall actually poked her head out to see what was going on, which was enough for EM to grab her daughter and storm off yelling, I'll make sure everyone knows how selfish you are. fucking hell. Later, I found out from mutual friends that she had spread the story around the neighborhood that I baited her daughter with Mochi only to withhold him out of spite. No one really believed her, but she still gives me the dirtiest look anytime I pass her. Mochi completely oblivious and unbothered living his best life. Entitled dad told me I should give his son my job. I work in IT at a mid-sized company, nothing crazy but decent pay and solid benefits. The other day, this guy I barely know, a friend of my dad's, comes up to me at a family barbecue and starts going on about how his son just finished some online tech course and is super passionate about computers. I nod, trying to be polite. Then he drops, you should give him your job. You've been there long enough. Yeah, that's how it works. You've had that job, 5 years? I think it's time you passed it over to someone else, someone who's actually passionate about computers. Don't you know he took an online tech course? I laugh thinking he's joking, but nope, dead serious. Start saying it would mean a lot to the family and how it's time for the younger generation to step in. Like, dude, this is my job. I worked my ass off for years and you always just hand it over to because your son watched a few YouTube tutorials. I told him straight up that's not how the world works, and he walked away. Later, I heard he was telling people I'm selfish and not family oriented. Bro, you can't be serious. I'm still stunned. He thought it was a legit request. Anyone dealt with this kind of entitlement? In fairness, he is right. He should just give his son, like, he's watched like probably about 2 hours of YouTube tutorials. I'm sure he's qualified for it. I'm sure he's actually better at your job than you. I'm now demanding that you like and subscribe.